Traveling with medications in 2026 has gotten more complex, which is why today we'll be breaking down exactly what you can pack, how to pack it properly, and what documentation you need to avoid problems the next time you fly. The first thing you need to understand is what medications you can actually bring on a plane. The good news is that TSA allows any FDA-approved prescription medication through security, regardless of whether it's in pill form, liquid, or cream. When it comes to liquid medications, you're not limited by quantity either, since prescription medications are completely exempt from the standard TSA 311 liquid restrictions. The TSA has strict restrictions on how much liquid you can bring in your carry-on through the airport security checkpoint. This is known as the 311 rule, which means liquids must be in containers of 3.4 ounces or less, all fitting into one clear quart-sized bag with one bag allowed per passenger. This restriction applies to most food and household items like water, soup, toothpaste, shampoo, and face cream. It's important to know that prescription liquid medications, as well as medically necessary non-prescription liquids or supplies, are completely exempt from these restrictions. They should not be placed in your 311 liquids bag with items that are subject to the limit. Instead, they should be removed from your bag and declared to the TSA officer at the security checkpoints. This means if you use liquid medications like insulin, Ozempic in pre-filled pens, or prescription creams for conditions like psoriasis or eczema, you can bring whatever amount you need for your trip. The same goes for any ice packs or gel packs required to keep your medications at the right temperature. You can pack unlimited amounts of solid medications such as pills like Tylenol, aspirin, and Advil. And just like with prescription liquid medications, many common non-prescription liquid medications are not subject to the TSA 311 liquid rules either. This includes liquids like saline solution for contacts, Dayquil or other cold and cough syrups, as well as medically necessary creams or gels like hydrocortisone cream, Neosporin antibiotic ointment, pain relief gels like Icy Hot, and skin treatments like Aquaphor. One major change to know about is that liquid hand sanitizer is no longer treated as a special exception. It does need to be in that 3.4-ounce container or smaller and placed inside your liquids bag. There was a time when you could bring big bottles through, but that's gone now. Medical devices like CPAP machines and insulin pumps are also permitted, and syringes are allowed when accompanied by an injectable medication. Overall, the TSA is quite accommodating for travelers that have medications, which is pretty much all of us these days. But there is one major exception that is catching travelers off guard and getting people into quite a bit of trouble at the airport. Medical marijuana and CBD products containing more than 0.3% THC are not allowed on planes in your carry-on luggage or checked luggage, even with a valid prescription, as they're still considered federally illegal for air travel. Now let's talk about how to properly prepare and pack your medications for security. According to TSA guidelines, pills and tablets don't technically need to be in their original prescription bottles. While you can put them into unlabeled containers or a pill organizer, you might not want to, as it might lead to unnecessary questioning you could have avoided. Always pack enough medication for your entire trip, plus enough for 5 to 7 extra days in case of any travel plan changes. Don't forget to check with your doctor or pharmacist well before your travel date if you need any early refills to cover you for the duration of your trip. If you're traveling with controlled substances like Ambien, Vyvanse, or Adderall, it's strongly recommended that you keep these in their original labeled prescription container. This is especially important since different states have varying laws about prescription labeling. It's generally a good idea, regardless of the medication, to have a copy or photo of your original prescription bottle if you do decide to use a new container or pill organizer. For liquid medications, whether they are prescription or over-the-counter, always keep these in their original labeled container. This helps TSA officers quickly identify them as medically necessary liquids that are exempt from the 311 liquid restriction rule rather than getting them confused with restricted items like toothpaste and shampoo. Consider bringing a doctor's note as well as copies of your prescription, especially for those controlled substances I mentioned earlier like Adderall and Ambien. Ensure that the name on your prescription matches the name on your passport exactly, and make sure that any gel packs are completely frozen before you leave home if they are required to keep any of your medications cool. Ice packs are allowed when they are used to keep medication cold, even if they are partially thawed or slushy, but keeping them completely frozen can help you avoid extra screening at security. Let us know down in the video comments where you will be flying to next. I will personally be taking a trip to Thailand, even though I just got back from Thailand. I kind of love it there. The key to packing your medications is organization and accessibility. Keep all of your medical supplies separate from regular toiletries and easily accessible. Many travelers, including myself, like to use a dedicated clear bag, like a Ziploc bag, just for medications and medical supplies. Think of this as your medical kit, but by keeping it in a clear Ziploc bag, it doesn't take up unnecessary space, and TSA agents can see what's inside without having to dig through everything. Your medical kit can include prescription medications, over-the-counter medications, medical devices and supplies, any necessary documentation, as well as ice packs or cooling devices if you have any temperature-sensitive medications. There's a ton of information in this video, so I also put together a free checklist you can download and refer back to when it's time to pack. It's the same checklist that I keep updated every time there is a rule change, and it's the same checklist that I personally refer back to every time I fly. You can download it by scanning the QR code on the screen now or by using the link at the top of the video description and comment section. While you are technically allowed to pack your medications in your checked luggage, carry-on suitcase, or personal item bag, I highly recommend you keep all of them in your personal item bag. Always pack your medications in your personal item bag, which is the smaller backpack or purse that fits underneath the plane seat in front of you. Do not pack any medications in your carry-on suitcase, and definitely do not put them in checked luggage. Airlines are increasingly asking passengers to gate check their carry-on suitcase when boarding flights, and you don't want to be separated from essential medications. Packing your medications in your personal item bag is the only way to be 100% certain that they will stay with you for the entire flight. For medications that need to stay cold, like certain face creams, Ozempic, or insulin, proper temperature control is crucial. Use an insulated travel case or small cooler with gel ice packs. When it comes to going through TSA airport security with medications, there are a few things that every traveler needs to keep in mind. First, plan to arrive at the airport earlier than you typically would. The security process can vary significantly, not just between airports, but even between different times of day at the same airport. Second, as you approach the security checkpoint, let an agent know about any medical liquids or devices that you're carrying. Pull out both your medical kit and your 311 liquids bag and place them both in a bin for screening. If you skip this step and your liquids are scattered, you're likely to set off an alarm as your luggage goes through the scanner. You'll also want to inform an agent if you have any internal medical devices like pacemakers, which are not usually compatible with metal detectors, or external devices like insulin pumps, which might trigger an alarm. While you generally don't need to remove any medical devices from your body, you may end up having additional screening or a quick pat-down to verify their location. In addition to the checklist that I have for you down in the video description, there are a few incredibly helpful resources that the TSA provides travelers. There's the My TSA app, which is your one-stop shop for all TSA-related questions. The Can I Bring feature tells you quickly if any medication or medical device is allowed, and you can even save frequently searched items to your favorites list. Another valuable free resource is Ask TSA, which gives you direct access to TSA representatives through social media or over the phone. You can ask specific questions and typically get a response within minutes during business hours. Perhaps the most valuable resource is TSA Cares. This is a dedicated helpline designed to assist travelers with medical conditions or disabilities. If you contact them at least 72 hours before your flight by phone or email, they can arrange for a passenger support specialist to meet you at the security checkpoint and personally guide you through the screening process. You don't need to have a diagnosed condition to use TSA Cares. Being a nervous traveler and wanting extra assistance is a perfectly valid reason to reach out. Quite a few of you have either left comments or sent me emails about your personal experience with TSA Cares, and from what I can remember, all of them have been overwhelmingly positive, which is awesome to hear. They just don't advertise them very well. When traveling internationally, the rules for medications can vary dramatically from one country to another. While TSA might let your medications through security, your destination could have very different regulations. Common U.S. medications like Sudafed containing pseudoephedrine are actually illegal in Japan and Mexico. ADHD medications, such as Adderall, are banned in many countries in the Middle East and Asia, while sleep aids like Ambien are strictly controlled in Singapore. Always research every country you're visiting using the US Embassy website well before your trip. Many countries limit how much medication you can bring in, with common allowances being up to a 30-day supply for controlled medications or up to 90 days for regular medications. Take these rules seriously, as you don't want to be the one that ends up in Japan getting detained because you brought your ADHD medication with you, thinking that they wouldn't check. The one time you pack it is the one time they will check. That just seems to be how things work. Next, let's go over some game-changing tips that can make your airport experience when traveling with medications much smoother. The first tip is to ask your doctor for a letter explaining your medical conditions and why you need specific medications. This documentation can be invaluable if you're questioned by security or customs. Another great tip is to ask your doctor or pharmacist to provide smaller labeled bottles for travel. Instead of carrying a large 3-month supply bottle, they can give you a smaller bottle with the same prescription label that's easier to pack and less likely to raise questions. It's also a good idea to create a detailed medication list with both brand and generic names, dosages, prescribing doctor information, and pharmacy contacts. Keep both a physical copy and a digital copy on your phone. For international travel, consider getting this translated into the local language, which you can easily do for free online with tools like Google Translate. And finally, always check the TSA's What Can I Bring page and stay up to date with news headlines pertaining to the airline you're flying with that could impact your next trip. The bottom line is that traveling with medication in 2026 doesn't have to be stressful, and it doesn't have to be a lengthy process. You just need to know what the rules are and then pack accordingly. In addition to avoiding medication mistakes when you travel, you'll also want to check out this video on the screen now and linked in the video description, where I break down common airport mistakes that you'll definitely want to avoid the next time you fly. Don't forget to hit subscribe to join Ollie and me back here for more travel tips and hacks each week, and we will see you in that next video soon. Bye.